The Raiders are headed to the nation's capital. Fox Sports' RG3 tells us how Geno Smith can get back on track. Plus, can the Raiders' secondary shut down the Commanders' receiving corps? Raiders safety Jeremy Chinn stops by, and former Washington linebacker London Fletcher takes us inside enemy lines. The Silver and Black Show starts now. Welcome into the Silver and Black Show, everyone. I'm Theoharis. The Raiders head to D.C. They face a banged-up Commanders team this week, and we don't know if Jaden Daniels will play or not, but it's really not about who's on the other side. This game is about figuring out who the Raiders are. Are they an explosive offense like Week 1, or one that only had 150 passing yards Week 2? Are they a defense that holds teams to 3 points in the second half like Week 1? Or one that allowed Justin Herbert to throw for over 300 yards on Monday Night Football. So it's time for a little clarity here in Week 3. And to help us break down the matchup, we welcome in Fox Sports analyst, former Washington quarterback, RG3, Robert Griffin III. It's so good to see you, and I love your colors. You understood the assignment.
I understood the assignment. I knew where I was going, so I made sure I dressed appropriately.
I love it. All right, let's talk a little. We know that you watch quarterbacks, obviously, from both sides, but let's start with Geno Smith. Two very different performances in Week 1 versus Week 2 for Geno Smith. What are you expecting to see from him in Week 3?
No, I'm expecting to see improvement from Geno. Geno's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. I just think he was pressing a little bit last week. Wanting to get the big plays. You saw him throwing the ball, pushing the ball down the field, giving his receivers opportunities to make plays, and the ball just didn't bounce their way. So I'm looking to see Geno go back to the basics, go through his reads, get to the check down if the check down is there. And honestly, this week, they have some pretty good mismatches against this Commanders defense in the tight end room. Last week, the Washington Commanders gave up 156 yards receiving to the Green Bay Packers tight ends. So if Brock Bowers is healthy and that hopefully he can get that knee brace off or be a little bit more comfortable with it on, it should be a field day for them in the middle of the field.
How do you like also having Michael Mayer out there, another big tight end, where we'll see both of them? Do you think that combination could kind of make up for Brock being a little bit slowed down, which we didn't see a lot of yards after catch from Brock last week?
Correct. And that's what we're used to seeing from Brock Bowers is that catch and run ability. It's what people fell in love with him for at Georgia. But I feel like Mayer's been a little bit of the forgotten guy. Notre Dame tight end, he's a really great player. And I know he's like morphed into more of a blocking role. But it wasn't just Tucker Kraft who was going off against the Commanders. It was that entire room. So I think Michael Mayer can give them an added boost as they get the familiarity and the comfortability with the outside receivers and Geno back in check.
Yeah, the secondary really struggled against the Packers. The Commanders' secondary. It wasn't just against tight ends; it was against the receivers as well. How do you like the Raiders' receiving core? Not without the tight ends, the receivers. How do you like that matchup against the secondary?
I just think when you look at this from a football player perspective, the football player in me says I know that those Commanders DBs have pride. So yes, they were picked on by the Packers, but they were also picked on schematically by the Packers, constantly putting them in compromising situations and positions. It's not that the Raiders can't do that. It's just after a game like that, you come back throughout the week and you're practicing all the things that went wrong against the previous team. And they've got too much talent in that DB room with Mike Sainristil, Marcus Lattimore, in the group with the Commanders to come out and lay another egg. I do love the talent that the Raiders have in their wide receiver room. Thornton is a guy that I was really, really high on, coming out of the draft. And I think it just comes down to Geno. What version of Geno are you going to get? I believe this is going to be a very good game, a well-contested game. I think you'll get a better version of Geno than you did last week, and I think that's good to hear for Raiders fans.
Well, you've been playing this game and analyzing it a long time, so I'm sure you've followed Chip Kelly's career. What is it about him, not just at college or pros or wherever he is, that allows him to put his personnel in the best position? And he can be pretty diverse in what he uses.
Yeah, he can. And, a lot of people have that, I don't want to say bad memory, but a little bit of a jolted memory of Chip Kelly when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles in his second year, where it felt like defenses started to figure out what he was doing with the up-tempo offense. But the year before, he was literally setting the league on fire, setting records. Teams didn't know how to handle that. And I think him going back and forth between the NFL and college football has shown him like, hey, these are the concepts and the things that I can do to put my players in position to be successful at either level that will work. And I think it's just a matter of mastering the personnel that they have. And to me, the biggest issue, yes, I know Geno at one point last week was 0 for 10 for 3 interceptions. Like, that's not winning football, right? But it's Aston Genty and it's the running game. Averaging, I think, less than 3 yards a carry right now. And for him, like I had said this, in training camp, let him get back to his normal stance. Let him stand like the boogeyman. Let him do what he does best and what he's most comfortable with. But at the same time, you got to give him running lanes to get through. If you get him 2 yards down the field, he will make a 2-yard run into a 15-yard run, and we saw that repeatedly. The guy broke more tackles than anyone in college football the past 2 seasons. So I think helping out this passing game also includes getting the running game rolling and running the runs that Aston Genty is good at. That is the one thing that I would challenge Chip Kelly on is it doesn't matter what the scheme is telling you to do. What is your back good at running? And what can your offensive line block? Run those plays, get him comfortable, because if he gets better, a quarterback's best friend isn't a tight end. It's not a number 1 wide receiver. It's the running game.
Because you cover so much college football as well, and I know you watched him at Boise State. So is there just that feeling like, okay, we know what he does well, it's just a matter of time? And is that why Pete Carroll doesn't seem bothered? He said he's just getting started. He didn't seem that worried that he only had 11 carries.
Yeah, and listen, Pete Carroll is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, and his job is not to panic. His job is we call it DFO, don't freak out. Find a way. I'm more than sure Pete Carroll, this is a guy, I'm more than sure that he is in those conversations with the offense right now, like, guys, come on. This is a guy that went to the Super Bowl twice with Marshawn Lynch as his starting running back. And they weren't giving Marshawn Lynch 11 carries, I know it's probably a sore topic for the Seahawks fans, but they probably should have given him on the goal line too. But I think with Aston Genty, he reminds so many people of Marshawn Lynch and the way that he runs and the attitude that he runs with and his ability to run guys over and his contact balance. So if I'm the Raiders, I am not walking out of this game against the Commanders without Aston Genty having 25 carries.
Yeah, maybe
there has to be a commitment to that. And then, listen, of course, you want to get the ball to your skill guys and your playmakers, and they got money all over the yard there on that offense. But it comes down to owning the line of scrimmage. And if you don't own the line of scrimmage against the Commanders, you won't beat them.
I think we just need to get Ashton some Skittles, just like Beast Mode, and he'll do just fine. He'll shake the ground. He'll have an earthquake. On the other side, we don't know if Jayden Daniels is going to play. It doesn't look like it's trending, but we do know he's in the right direction, but we do know he's a competitor. What does Washington's offense look like without him and with Marcus Mariota in?
Yeah, I mean, Marcus has looked great every time he's had an opportunity to play and start a game in Washington. I think last week they go 5 for 16 on third downs. Like, they didn't win the money down. And there's a little bit of pressing. And when I say that, I mean, Scary Terry missed all of training camp, got 9 targets, but him and Jayden looked out of sync. Well, it's not like it's going to automatically increase when Marcus Mariota steps in there, because Scary Terry didn't practice, leading up all the way through training camp. But what Marcus is going to bring to the table is they're no longer going to be calling plays, thinking to themselves, if this doesn't work, Jayden is going to make it right. Marcus is a very talented quarterback. I mean, he's got experience being there with the Raiders as well. And early in his career, he could make things right. It's not that he can't do it anymore. It's just the little birdie in the back of the offensive coordinator's head that says, all right, man, if this isn't here, I know Jayden's going to make a play. I don't think they're going to call the game that way for Marcus, and I think it actually might help them. They'll call more higher percentage plays. They'll probably lean on running the football a little bit more, and that to me is gonna simplify the offense for everybody, because right now they're out of sync. And nobody hates going to calculus class when they didn't study the night before, right? So let's bring it back to algebra, okay? Let's own the line of scrimmage. Let's find ways to help Josh Connolly on our right tackle, who's given up 3.5 sacks the last 2 games. against Max Crosby. Like, let's figure out ways to alleviate some of the pressures that we're putting on this offensive line by getting the ball out faster, using quick game, and then, of course, continuing to establish the run with Bill Crosby merit there. I think that is going to be the recipe for success for the Commanders, and obviously getting Debo back into doing what he was doing week 1, which is not just catching passes, but also running the ball out of the backfield.
So I know with Austin Eckler out, you did mention the rookie Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He'll get the bulk of the load. Do you think he's ready for that? Like, we don't know a lot about him, so give us a scoop on him.
Yeah, as I said, Bill, because he wants to be called Bill. That's
oh, okay.
That's the name that he wants to be called. He wants to be called by. So hey, if his mama called him Bill, I'm gonna call him Bill.
All right.
And what the word out of training camp for him, and really out of the preseason, was just explosive playmaking. And Austin Eckler, we all remember him as a touchdown scoring machine, reliable veteran, great in pass pro, and never afraid to run between the tackles. But there's a reason that they traded away Brian Robinson, and it was because of Bill. They believe that his carries can mean more. So if they give him 10 to 15, they're looking to get 70 to 100 yards out of him because of his big playability. I think it's for them in the running game. Without Jayden Daniels being there, he kind of artificially inflates their run numbers because of his scrambling ability. I think this week against the Raiders, they're going to have to actually commit to the running game outside of the quarterback, even though Marcus Mariota is always game to give you 40 to 50 yards, either via scrambles or true quarterback-driven zone reads.
That is true. And what's interesting about the Raiders' defense in the first 2 games is they've been very good at stopping the run against conventional running backs. They have not done a good job of stopping the run when it comes to running quarterbacks. Like Drake May and Justin Herbert would get outside of the pocket and scrambled. How do they contain, whether it is Marcus Mariota or Jayden Daniels, how important will that be? And how much focus do you think they have put on that, considering what happened the first 2 weeks?
I think your last point there is the most important one. With Drake May and Justin Herbert, they weren't thinking to themselves, man, we gotta stop the quarterback run, because Herbert has established himself as a guy who they don't run a ton of zone read, right? If he scrambles or if he's making running plays happen, it's because it's off of a broken play. Same with Drake May. They don't really major in the zone read game the same way that Marcus Mariota and Jayden Daniels have over the courses of their career. So I think their heightened awareness is going to be there because they're practicing those plays in practice already. And then on third down, a lot of coaches that face Drake May, I think it's wrong, but face Drake May or face Justin Herbert aren't thinking to themselves QB spy. But when you get Jayden Daniels or Marcus Mariota, because they've been so dynamic with their legs, they're thinking quarterback spy, all eyes on the QB, let's play zone, make them pick us apart. So I think that little perspective shift this week will help them be ready to stop the quarterback run. But if you have a solution to stop quarterbacks from scrambling in 11-on-11 football, I think every defensive coordinator in the country, in college and the NFL, would love that input, because it seems like everyone is struggling to contain the quarterback right now.
Yeah, you had that down pretty good back in the day, if I remember correctly. They didn't really figure you out. All right, RG3, we really appreciate you taking some time to be with us. I do have one last question. Finish this sentence. Right. The Raiders will win if...
Ooh, the Raiders will win if Ashton Genty runs for over 100 yards.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it. I do see, like, you got a Ninja Turtle. What's going on? A Mickey Mouse Ninja Turtle? And
yeah. It's I got these Funko Pops back here.
Yeah.
I'm a big
you got a
Heisman.
Guy. I mean, I'm not even looking at the Heisman. Yeah, I'm just
There's
looking
Martin
at the
Luther
Ninja.
King Jr. as well. They're just same award. You know what I mean? And
just some awards, but I like the Ninja Turtle. We're simple over here.
Got the Ninja Turtle in the corner. Shout out to Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo. They're also on my leg tatted, so
right. I love it.
We love this stuff.
I like it. And congrats on your Heisman. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks. We appreciate it. Robert Griffin III. Good stuff. Coming up, we go inside enemy lines with Commanders radio analyst and former Washington linebacker London Fletcher next.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. and reconnect. We remember and we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you. And so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
Is there something more fabulous? I need something to chase, something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. And by 1800 Tequila, official partner of the Raiders. Taste is everything. Please drink responsibly. Welcome back. Let's go inside enemy lines and welcome in former Washington linebacker London Fletcher, who is a friend. And London, I know we're enemies today, but we are friends and we go way back. So I trust that you can give me the scoop on this. Is Jayden Daniels playing or is he not playing?
We'll have to all wait and see. Yeah, we're friends, but I'm not gonna give up trade secrets. We'll see. I know Jayden's gonna do everything he can possible to get out there on the football field, but it's a process, and I'm sure they'll take the right steps to make sure he's fully healthy.
Yeah, he hasn't been practicing, so it doesn't look like it's trending in the right direction, and it doesn't seem like Dan Quinn, with such a long season ahead, would probably jeopardize it if he wasn't ready. But what kind of a guy is Jayden Daniels that he probably will try to play hurt?
I think Jayden. I mean, everybody as a competitor, you want to go out there and play football. That's just how we're wired from the time we first picked up the football and play sports, or whatever the case may be. You're just competitive, and you don't want to miss any ball games. But Jayden's also smart, so he's going to listen to the training staff, the medical people, and do what's right, not just for this game, but also for the longer term. So we'll see how things kind of take shape and unfold, and that'll determine whether he's out on the football field on Sunday afternoon.
Well, you guys left that Thursday night game against the Packers really banged up. You lost guys like Austin Eckler, and Wise is out for the season. I know those were tough blows, and you still have 7 players listed as questionable. So just how banged up is this team? And I'm sure Raiders, they think they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty night for us, to say the least, from the scoreboard standpoint and also the injury standpoint. And the injuries are the things that hurt the most, because we lost a couple guys with season-ending injuries. Austin Eckler, who was a dynamic running back for us, doing a little bit of everything, running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield, excellent in pass pro. Also lost Dietrich Wise, who was a free agent signing that we got this offseason, and he was playing some good football for us. So those were two major losses. And then also Noah Brown and John Bates are dealing with injuries, and a couple other guys banged up. But as you know, the game is going to go. They're not going to stop it. They're not going to cancel it. So it's an opportunity for some other guys to step up if all those guys can't go that aren't on season-ending injuries. But it's an opportunity for other guys to step up and show what they can do.
I do know that you guys brought in Preston Smith to help fill that void on the defensive line that was left by Wise. Run defense has not been Washington's strength the first 2 weeks, and I know the Raiders are trying to get the rookie Ashton Jeanty going. How do you like that matchup?
Actually, run defense wise, we haven't been that bad. I think the Green Bay game, you have so many carries that eventually you're gonna end up with a lot of yards per se. For you guys, I know you draft Genty high and you're trying to get him going, but I like the additions that we made to our defense. We went out, we signed Javon Kinlaw. He's a big guy who's really anchor in the middle of that defense. You signed a guy like Eddie Goldman, another guy, bigger body guy. Wise was a part of that kind of revamped defensive front to show up the run defense. So you lose him and you replace him, as you mentioned, with Preston Smith.
Who does Dan Quinn circle on the Raiders offense? Is it Ashton Jeanty? Because other teams, it seems like, have really tried to take the run away first from this offense.
Well, I think the most dynamic player you got is Brock Bowers. He would be the guy that you would try to take away first. Just looking at him, he's the guy that number one target, and they try to scheme him up in different ways to get Brock the football. So that would be, I guess, where you would probably start your game plan. But I would say this: in every defensive meeting room that I've been in, the very first thing we talk about is stopping the run. Like we'd rather you throw for 450 yards on us as opposed to run for 200. So we hang our hats on saying, hey, we're not going to allow somebody to run the football. Even 150, we look at that as like, man, that's just not the way you want to play football. Because when you allow a team to run the ball, it just opens up so many different things, whether it's the play action pass and screen games and shot plays down the field, things like that. Now you have to commit more resources to stopping the run. You create one-on-one matchups on the perimeter with the receivers against cornerbacks. So every defensive meeting room that I've been a part of, the first thing we talk about is stopping the run, kind of making the team one-dimensional. And when they're going to pass the ball, Brock Bowers is the guy you want to take away. But you all got some good players. I like Jacoby Myers a lot. I think he's an excellent route runner. So you guys got some guys that can make some plays in the passing game as well.
And with Brock a little bit banged up, we're really seeing Chip Kelly use these 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets with Michael Mayer, who you mentioned. How do they match up in that 12 personnel with a veteran like Bobby Wagner? And you know the linebacking core really well. What are you looking for in that matchup?
Well, it's you got Bobby, who's a savvy veteran. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to cover guys. He'll go in there with a coverage plan if we play a lot of man to man. We play a ton of man to man, but we also you got to mix up some things. I can see safeties, nickels, whatever the case may be. There'll be a different variety of different coverages and personnel groupings that we kind of play with as well to kind of combat your 12 personnel grouping. So it'll be a nice kind of chess match in terms of how we're going to deal with the 12 personnel, because you guys play it so much. Like you said, I think probably one of the tops in the National Football League in 12 personnel, and reason being because you have 2 really good tight ends.
Let's talk about Geno Smith. You kind of brought him up. You talked about shots down the field, play action pass. That's what worked for the Raiders in week 1. Didn't really work in week 2, but he's known for his accuracy. And look, Geno Smith was just off last week. 55% completion rate, throws the ball, turns the ball over 3 times. But does this seem like, to me, it seems like it could be a favorable matchup because your secondary has struggled. They had a rough coverage grade, according to PFF, against the Packers. So break down that matchup for me, because you know what Geno Smith is capable of.
Right, and I kind of applaud Geno and everything he's gone through to where his career has evolved to, really reinventing himself when he went out to Seattle and has played good football the last few years as a starter. With him, as you mentioned, he has a strong arm, accurate arm. Just had some unfortunate turnover situations in the game against the Chargers. So the thing about our defensive backs, they were sticky in coverage the first game against the New York Giants. Last week against the Green Bay Packers, they had some struggles out there, and they were able to get some big plays downfield against our defensive backs. And I'm sure they spent a lot of time trying to correct those situations. Teams are going to continue to do those types of things, take your shot plays until you've proved to them that you've solved that problem. So you have to expect the Raiders to come in there, try to take their shots down the field, and we'll have to prove whether we've corrected those situations or not. But I have the utmost faith in our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr., and the defensive backs, the defensive coaching staff, that they're going to devise a plan to combat those big plays in the passing game.
We haven't even talked about the trenches, and that's where the game is won or lost. And the Raiders' offensive line, look, they haven't played well, but neither has the Commanders' defensive line at times. What do you think the key is for this offensive line, based on what you've seen on film, for them to protect Geno Smith? Because he made some plays with the pocket collapsing last week.
Well, I'm hoping they don't fix it. So,
give me your analyst hat, though. You've watched this offensive line.
Yeah, the thing I'll say this: it seems like when whether it was the Patriots or the Chargers, maybe when they brought extra rushers, creating those linemen in one-on-one passing situations, and just hoping that somebody's going to win their one-on-one matchup. So it seems like it's just individuals playing better, doing a better job of winning their one-on-one matchups from a pass pro standpoint. No quarterbacks likes to be throwing the football with pressure in his face, people around him, being in an uncomfortable pocket. So I'm sure that's something that they've really tried to fine-tune as offensive line. Hey, you guys maybe struggled a little bit with some twist games as well. Those are things that you got to continue to work out and work on. I know this is a new offensive staff with Chip Kelly being the offensive coordinator. I'm not sure if it's a new offensive line coach or not, or if he's a holdover, but all that stuff takes some time to get kind of ironed out.
The Commanders have had extra time, whereas the Raiders are on a short week, turning it around after Monday Night Football. One guy that I really like that the Raiders got in the offseason is Devin White. He's been leading the team in tackles every single game. Do you really see him being a factor in the middle of the field? What makes him effective from what you have seen? And looking forward to that matchup with guys like Zach Ertz, who can be pretty dangerous for the Commanders.
Yeah, I was a big Devin White fan when he was with Tampa Bay. I don't know what ended up happening in that situation, but I thought he was a very good football player. And then he bounced around with a couple teams last year, but seems to me like he's found a home in Vegas, and they're utilizing him to his skill set. Really, he has great speed. He's a rangy linebacker, can go sideline to sideline. If the Raiders are going to try to match him up against Zach Ertz, Zach is a very crafty route runner, so it'll Devin have his work cut out for him trying to cover a guy like Ertz because of his craftiness. And we got some backs that they catch balls out of the backfield. So from a coverage standpoint, you guys got some guys that definitely can get the job done.
Over in Black Productions, I know it is enemy territory, but we always love talking to you and getting your analysis on the Commanders. We'll see you out at the game.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, London. Coming up, Jeremy Chinn went to the NFC Championship last year as a Commander. Now he's in the silver and black. We sit down with the Raiders safety next.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
Is there something more fabulous chase. Something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
Escapes the pocket, giving chase, keeps it alive, and it's knocked away. Jeremy Chinn knocked it out of the hands of Theoharis, who was at the 15.
Matlock in front of Hampton. He swung to the Raiders. Came right off the edge. They made a third down stop. Jeremy Chinn and Jamal Adams. They went backwards, and now it's 4th and goal.
2nd and 6. Oh, and it's picked off. Jeremy Chinn stepped in front, and he's got a Raiders takeaway in Niners territory.
Welcome back to the Silver and Black Show, new member of the Raiders, getting to know Jeremy Chinn. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, how cool is it going to be for you to play your former team? You get to run out on, it used to be FedEx Field, now it's Northwest Stadium.
Yeah.
You get to run out of that tunnel, but in a different one. So have you thought about that?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about it. For me, I don't want to make it more than what it is, but there'll be an emotional aspect behind it.
For sure. In last year, you played along some of the guys you're going to see there, like Bobby Wagner, and now you get to play amongst defensive leaders like Max Crosby. What do you pick up and what do you add to guys like that along your career, and how lucky were you to work with both of them?
Yeah, I feel I've been very fortunate to play alongside both of those guys and work with them every single day and just seeing how they operate. I mean, both of them have had such tremendous careers, so anytime I can kind of like just pick their brains a little bit and just kind of see how they operate and see how they do things, it's just been an advantage for me.
What has this new beginning been like for you here in Vegas?
It's been smooth. It's been a smooth transition so far. I got out here probably in April. I've got settled. I've been able to get to know my teammates and the people around the building, so it's been great.
You've been really versatile. When you look, I mean, you've been listed at outside linebacker, which on the defensive line. You've been listed. You played inside the box at safety, at corner. Have you always kind of prided yourself on being versatile, and has that helped your career?
Yeah, I think it's helped me a lot. I mean, the more you can do, right, the better. So any way I can, affect the game or kind of free or open up our defense and, give our D coordinator or coaches an ability to, kind of open up what we can do as a defense and keep the offense guessing as much as possible, it's been very helpful.
Well, watching you guys last week, I know there's some adjustments you want to make coming into this week going against the Commanders, but one of the positives was you made 2 very strong red zone defensive stances. What did that tell you about your unit that you can build off of?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down to the red zone, I think the mindset is just either, field goals or takeaways. So when you can, leave the field with one of those results, it's a positive thing because, I mean, you lose in this league from touchdowns. Touchdowns win games. So those big red zone stops are huge.
Yeah, 3 is always better than 7. Preferably 0, though, right?
Preferably.
Preferably, but it's good to make the stance. The secondary, it's completely different from last year. Isaiah Pola-Mao is the only returning starter. So take me through the process of how you guys have to work as a unit, but you kind of have to learn each other. And when so many people are new, does it take time to gel together? Yeah,
I think it does. And I think it has to be a lot of things happen outside of the building as well, as far as in the building. Just taking intentional time to get to know each other and spend that time with each other, just kind of how each other think and how we talk. And there's some guys who are very vocal, and there's some guys that are not so vocal. So just kind of getting guys to open up and feel comfortable around you so they can, feel comfortable on the field to, make a certain check or make a certain call.
Wait, who's the vocal ones and who are the non-vocal ones? Who's the most vocal? We all know on defense it's Max, but in the secondary.
In the secondary, I'd say in the corner room, the most vocal is, that's actually kind of tough. It's between Caillou Blue,
okay,
and Eric Stokes for sure.
Of course the corners are the most vocal, right? They're always the flashiest ones, but that's cool to hear Caillou Blue Kelly is being vocal. it's been neat to watch a guy like that, a local guy, make the team and then now be a starter. What have you seen from him?
Consistency. I was able to be around him last year, and just seeing his growth over the past year has been really, really cool to see. I'm super proud of him, and he knows that he has a lot on his plate, and he has humility. He knows that like the work is what got him here, and the work is what's going to keep him here. So he sees that, and he shows up every single day.
I'm sure that a lot of people have been asking you questions about going up against the Commanders because the ones went against the ones at times in practice. You knew that offense very well, an offense that went to the NFC Championship game. What is the first step in kind of trying to contain that offense? Yeah,
well, their offense starts with the quarterback, Jaden, whether it be Jaden or Marcus, either one of them. And then, stopping the run game comes with playing any offense. But they've also got threats in the receiver room. As far as Terry, I know they just signed Debo as well, who's been a threat his whole career. So they definitely have a lot of weapons, along with Zach Ertz, who's been playing well for however many years, but he started off very hot. So I know he'll be part of their game plan as well.
Like you said, we don't know if it's going to be Jaden or if it's going to be Marcus Mariota. Both are very mobile. And if you look back at the film from week 1 and week 2, Drake May, Justin Herbert, both had success outside the pocket scrambling. How much focus has there been this week on containing not only their quarterbacks, but is there more of a focus because you think of both of them as running quarterbacks, whereas Justin Herbert and the verdict's out on Drake May, you don't really say, okay, we have to stop them from running first thing versus a Jaden Daniel. Yeah,
I mean, we definitely respected Justin Herbert as a runner because, I mean, he's shown it on tape his whole career as well. But, I mean, playing against Jaden and Marcus, it's a different type of threat with their legs, as well as their passing capabilities as well. But, that's definitely a focus as far as containing them outside of the pocket.
You mentioned Terry McLaurin. He doesn't have the nickname Scary Terry for no reason, and we all know what Deebo Samuel's done in his career. It seems like Terry is still waiting to click a little bit with Jaden because he was late to camp. But what does make him so dangerous?
His speed, for sure. I don't know if a lot of guys really know that just watching him play, but he's such a smooth runner and he's so fast. But also he catches everything. He has the trust from his quarterback as he's earned throughout his whole career as far as contested catches and coming down with those balls. And then as far as Debo goes, his run after catch ability is incredible. He's basically a running back once he has a ball in his hand. So, being able to contain those guys as much as possible.
What's it been like working with Patrick Graham, longtime defensive coordinator, who many think has a career as a head coach one day?
Yeah, he's been great to work with. I mean, he gives us tools and kind of he gives us his perspective of why he calls certain things and gives us tools to be able to, make our checks and put ourselves in certain positions. So, he's given us a lot of flexibility and, a lot of ownership of the defense.
All right, I want you to, I know it's tough to predict this, but how do you guys leave Washington with a win? If there's one thing that the defense can start with, what is it?
Yeah, I would say just continuing to try to establish our style of football. Our physicality, being able to continue to affect the run game, but also make plays in the pass game. We've shown flashes the first 2 weeks, but just staying consistent and being able to take the ball away.
That's right. Those takeaways can change the whole game, don't they?
Sure.
You know that as a veteran.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy Chinn, it's so nice to get to know you. Welcome to Vegas.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, still to come, why Raiders fans can expect quite a few close games this season. Next on One Last Thing.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about Totally Obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one? 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
Is there something more fabulous? I need something to chase, something to melt this face. I need Las Vegas. It's too much and never enough. Oh, welcome to fabulous. It's spectacular, outrageous, impossible stuff. You'll stop and yell, welcome to fabulous.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Las Vegas Raiders and the NFL. Time now for one last thing. Even though it was ugly at times, the Raiders, they weren't out of that game Monday night until late in the fourth quarter against one of the best teams in the AFC. That's why there was a rare optimism you don't usually see after a loss.
In the locker room afterwards, so our fans understand, our guys were very optimistic about the future. Mm-hmm. They weren't all down in the dumps and kicking their lip around. They were ready to get back at it and get back on it and prove that we have something really going here. So couldn't ask for more.
Pete Carroll teams compete, so get used to close games, whether it's a win or a loss. Check this out, 52% of the NFL games that Carroll has coached in were one-score games. And in those tight games, Carroll has a winning record. This Raiders team, they believe they can do the same.
A lot of hungry guys came in the building, and we trying to make it shake, man. So at the end of the day, we just trying to have that swagger that, can't nobody mess with us when we step out there and just have fun. I think people starting to see it, and, the more we play complimentary football, the more both sides will get to shine, because at the end of the day, this thing is going to go as far as we as a team make it go.
Well, if there's one thing that can make it go, it's probably running the football. All legendary Pete Carroll teams have a strong run game, but Ashton Genty only had 11 carries last week. Carroll was asked if that's a concern.
He's still getting it. We got ways to go here, and I have no problem telling you that he's going to get better and he'll get more comfortable. He felt more comfortable in this game. He looked good running the football, and we need to just get to him more. Just like to get another eight or nine snaps to him and get around 20, and that'd be really nice.
And so would a road win. That would be really nice. And you have to believe Geno Smith will bounce back. He's 8-1 in his last 9 road starts with 7 consecutive wins. Sunday would be a good time to make it 8. That'll do it for us. It's Raiders Commanders live from Northwest Stadium. Kickoff is set for 10 a.m. Pacific. Make sure to catch Raiders Game Day right after the game. I'm Amber Theoharis. Have a great weekend, everyone.